I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Saturday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy D. Shechem for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 119th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 34, verses 20 to 24, looking at Hamor's and Shechem's discussion of circumcision among the men of the city. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 34:25 and read through verse 31. The text you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 34, beginning at verse 25. On the third day, when they were sore, two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and came against the city while it felt secure and killed all the males. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the sword and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went away. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds, their donkeys, and whatever was in the city and in the field, all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, all that was within their houses, they captured and plundered. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me by making me stink to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. My numbers are few, and if they gather themselves against me and attack me, I shall be destroyed, both I and my household." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a prostitute?" From the last three episodes, we've been dealing with the story of the violation of Dinah by Shechem. After Shechem had violated Dinah, he wanted to marry her, and so he and his father arranged a meeting with the family of Dinah to discuss terms. When the brothers heard of what happened, they were angry, for such a thing should not be done. Fornication and rape was wrong even back then, and has always been condemned in the Bible. Sexual relations are designed by God for the married couples, and is never to be taken by force. Instead of demanding their sister back, though, the brothers devised a plan that until today we did not fully understand. They told Hamor and Shechem that Shechem could marry Dinah, and they would intermarry among the daughters of the city only if all the men of the city were circumcised. Circumcision was a sign of the covenant between God and Abraham, and was therefore important to the Israelites. Hamor and Shechem agreed and then convinced the city to be circumcised as well. So from verse 25, we find that 3 days passed before the brothers took action. Why did they wait? Circumcision is a painful procedure, which is why it is performed on male babies who will have no memory of the pain. In the first few days after the procedure, the wounds would be tender, meaning that the men of the city would be vulnerable to attack. An attack is just what Simeon and Levi, Dinah's full-fledged brothers, had in mind. They attacked the city and killed every male, including Hamor and Shechem. They retrieved Dinah from Shechem's house and brought her back with them. They also plundered the city because of what they had done to Dinah, taking their flocks, herds, donkeys, and whatever was in the city or in the field. They also took the women and children as slaves. When word got back to Jacob, he was angry. He told Simeon and Levi that they had brought trouble among Jacob's house, because when the neighboring towns heard of it, they will certainly seek revenge. Simeon and Levi were indignant, though, accusing their father of allowing Dinah to be treated as a harlot. How had Jacob done that? Earlier in the chapter, he said nothing to Shechem about his treatment of Dinah, even though he knew. He did not ask for Dinah back, allowing her to remain with Shechem despite not being married to him. And he didn't seek justice for Dinah through any means, and was seemingly content with Shechem simply marrying her. So while Simeon and Levi were right in wanting justice for their sister, they were wrong in their actions, for they acted out of vengeance. Who was in the wrong here concerning Dinah? Shechem, and Shechem alone. The city had nothing wrong to do in this regard. So whatever the punishment for his crime, up to including death, It should have been Shechem and Shechem alone who would have paid for it. Along with that, we also must realize that justice is always carried out by the authorities, God's authorized agents for punishing crime. We must not become vigilantes, taking the law into our own hands. What happened here shows the problems that existed within Jacob's family, problems that will only become worse with time. And while Jacob was silenced here by his sons, he will never forget their actions, something we'll see in chapter 49. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow for the question and answer edition, as well as the weekly sermon edition of this podcast. This week's question is it wrong to eat in the church building? Well, the sermon will be titled, The Marks of a Christian, a Kind Person to All. We'll continue our study of Genesis, the Lord willing, on Monday, beginning with Genesis 35, verse 1.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord's willing, tomorrow when we'll be presenting 2 episodes. One is a question and answer session, while the other is a sermon from God's Word. Goodbye for now. Have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord,